Hey guys, I'm going to try something a little different today. I recently received an email from a company called FIFINE, or FIFINE, I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. They asked if I would review a microphone of theirs, and they said they would cover the cost. They sent it to me for free, so I can bring you guys an unbiased, just honest review. And I figured, why not? It might be cool to try something out like this. So, yeah, I'm going to unbox this thing and we're going to talk about it. I don't know if I receive any affiliation. I'm not sure how all this works. My guess is you'd have to purchase through the link in the description for me to receive any affiliation from this, and there's no reason in buying it unless it's a good microphone, so that's what we're going to find out today. This is the FIFINE USB Microphone K054. It cost about $25. Now with shipping, that was about $32 total, with some change. We'll see how it sounds, and I thought it might be fun to mic up an acoustic guitar, just see, if you really need like a low budget mic, maybe there's some musical application to this as well, so let's find out. Alright, the box is made of authentic cardboard. That's nice, and it actually does open up quite nice. Alright, here we've got user guide, and here's the microphone right here. This has a flexible gooseneck, so you can just kind of adjust this however you need. So I can definitely see where that'd be useful, just like if you need to be in any situation, this thing's going to follow you around. Does this come off? It does. Alright, so it's got a, what do you call these? Windbreaker? Is that what that's called? I don't know. But there's the microphone on its own right there, so we'll slip that back on. Yeah, I got that slipped on there. And it just plugs in through USB, so we've got the cable here, and it looks like I can extend this. Alright, pretty long cable. I mean, I'm guessing you're going to use this with your computer, and you'll be right next to your computer, but if you for some reason need to walk away or position it somewhere else, it's nice to know that you've got some distance to do that. Little cap for the USB. Sweet. And as far as controls go, looks like we've got this volume knob here and a mute button. Nothing to come undone on the bottom here. Cool. Let's try it out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and plug in the USB. Oh my gosh. It's a 50-50 chance to get the USB in the right way, and I almost always do it wrong the first time. Ugh. So on the screen recording here, I've got Logic Pro opened up and has detected a device named USB PNP audio device. We'll go ahead and hit yes on that. But also what you can do is on this MacBook Pro, if you click the Apple, System Preferences, Sound, you can see that there's the device right there, the USB PNP. So we're going to select that, and you can see that the input level, it's picking up my voice. And of course I can make it hotter by turning up the volume, or I can turn that down. And then there's the green button there, so green means you're live. If it turns red, you've muted it. Green, you're good to go. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and record into Logic Pro with this thing, so I'm selecting input. Okay, yeah, I can hear my voice in my headphones. Now right now I'm clipping, so let me, hey, 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 all the way down, hey, hey. I don't think you have to be like right up on it. I've got it right now where it's sort of peaking at -7. Of course, when I said peak, peak, oh, yeah. Well, that's kind of interesting. Peak, peak. Not really sure how great this windbreaker's working. Now, if you're back off, I'm sure it's manageable, but let's try recording, see what this sounds like. Okay, talking into this thing, so I'm just, a couple inches away from the mic, peaking, peaking. Now, whenever I say something like P or B, whoa, yeah, that definitely brought up the signal a bit. Now, if I were to back away, P, B, okay, it's significantly less when you're further away. So we'll see how that sounds. There isn't much happening here. I'm going to hit the mute button. Okay, so that seemed to mute. All right, let's try turning up the signal more. I'm turning it up louder. Much louder now, but I'm trying to stay away. So peaking, 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 peaking. P's and B's, those words kind of, a lot of air comes out. But yeah, if you stay more like 6 inches away, it's definitely not responding to those plosive words quite as drastically. So I do think if you're going to use it, you probably don't want to be up on it like this. I can even hear it distorting. Of course, I've got it turned up more than halfway now, so they're going to want to be, some way away from it, and I'm just going to try turning my head a little bit, kind of experiment with, like, say I'm looking away. In the headphones, it still sounds pretty balanced. It doesn't sound like this, like, drastic shift from when I, I could hear it a little bit. Could be a bit of a room mic, keep that in mind. One interesting thing, me and Sam, we've been doing live streams lately. Whenever we need to talk to whoever's watching the stream, they can't hear Sam. So it's nice to have a mic kind of as our room mic. So something like this might work. Let's give that a shot. So let's say I'm like stepping away. I've turned it all the way up, and I'm kind of further away now. As you can see, I'm out of frame, just kind of back here. And of course, being this close again, that's going to be too hot. So let's turn that way down again. Let's have a listen. All right, I got to be honest. I was listening back in my headphones, and it sounds pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to say there's anything like amazing, but for 25 bucks, like it's definitely a pretty solid microphone. And if you need like just better audio quality for something, this might be worth considering. I'm going to compare it to some other alternatives. So one, if you've got a MacBook Pro or some kind of laptop, it should have a built-in microphone. So let's see how something like this for $25 might compare with the microphone in your device that you've already got. Another thing we might compare it to, I'll get some vocal recordings on my phone and see how that compares to something like this. Okay, so now I'm recording into my laptop. Now, the one thing I know just from prior experience and just from looking at the meters now, this is very...
something like P or B. Whoa, yeah, that definitely brought up the signal a bit.
Peaking at about -4. Sorry, I'm kind of talking at my computer, and I've still got my camera rolling, so...
I'm turning it up louder, much louder now, but I'm trying to stay away, so
I'll have to listen back, but... Wow, I gotta be honest. Like, all right, so if you compare a computer mic to something like this, it's like listening to someone recording in their bedroom versus a nice podcast. That's how drastic it is. I'm not saying this is as nice as the kind of mics that people might be using in professional podcasts, but the difference, the built-in one is just kind of crispy, you know, and just very kind of thin, digital sounding, and then this is surprisingly warm, and it's a very clean sounding signal. All right, so that's the computer. Let's see how it compares to the phone. Okay, so I'm speaking into the phone now, and the thing about this, I use this for recording experience and just from looking at the meters now, but usually when I'm recording this, it's going to be kind of a wider surface. If I'm turning my head,
I'm turning it up louder, much louder now.
You know, a guitar idea or some kind of musical idea. Man, that's pretty good, dude. I gotta be honest, going into this, I was like, yeah, whatever, $25 microphone. I'm sure it's gonna sound kind of cheap, but, you know, whatever, I'll do this review. But I am pleasantly surprised. I mean, my phone, the mic on that sounds better than the mic in my computer, but this thing, for just $25 more, you know, you can get a much better sound and more practical use out of it. You know, with the phone, you're gonna have to be very strategic with how you use it. You're either gonna have to hold it or you're gonna have to set it somewhere, and it's not like you're gonna be able to angle it or really adjust it. This thing, you can totally just move it around. That's really cool. Part of me was like, man, what am I gonna do after this review? Because I don't know if I'm gonna need this mic for anything. And now I'm like, this thing's not bad. This kind of, thank you, FIFINE. Like, thanks for sending this to me. At my home, I don't have access to like a really good mic, so I can't compare this to something that I would use. Like when I record vocals, I've got the AT2020. I do that at my church. I don't think I'd be using this for recording vocals. I'm not sure. I guess I could try it out. Might as well. Why don't we try it out? We'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick with the other mic just because that's what I have. But yeah, let's try some vocals and try some guitar and see if we can get anything out of this. And what's funny is, for me as a musician, I'm thinking more so in a musical application, but certainly if you're doing some kind of live stream or podcast or something and you just need a solid sounding microphone, this thing is pretty good. Okay, so this is just a quick test, so this might not be like the optimal solution, but it is kind of nice just from this quick test. I'm like, man, where am I going to set this mic up? I can have it on the desk here, and then because of the gooseneck, I can just kind of angle it down, and there we go. Ideally with the mic, you want to aim it at about the 12th fret when you're recording acoustic guitar. I'm going to try it with the windbreaker on and then without it. It'll probably be better without the windbreaker, I would imagine. There are probably other things I'd want to do in my room to get the best recording, but let's just go ahead and see what this sounds like. Okay, so here we are in my closet, and this is totally just like a really rough, quick setup. My laptop is just right there on my desk, and the cable is able to reach through here, and I've got the mic kind of wedged in between the clothes hanger bar and just this top shelf here. I've got it pointing at me. Now, I already recorded the acoustic guitars, and based on that test, I thought it sounded better without the windbreaker. You get more brightness. So I'm going to do the same thing. However, we know that from the voice, singing those P's and B's, all that wind that's going to cause the mic to clip and stuff. So, but I just so happen to have this extra, DIY pop filter in my closet, and I guess I was just saving it for this occasion. So let's see what happens.
Staring at my own reflection through shattered bits of glass, showing me the perfect picture of who I really am. And all this time, just know that I've tried for you.
Alright, so I just recorded some vocals and some acoustic guitar. So this is the vocal and the acoustic guitar together.
Showing me the perfect picture of who I really am. Why do you care when I'm undeserving of love?
Okay, so my initial thoughts, I think the voice is so dynamic that it's really hard to get some consistency with this mic. However, I will say that it's not the worst thing in the world. If you had like nothing else to record with and you just needed like something decent for a really affordable price, you could probably make this work. The biggest challenge is you're gonna have to play with the distance some, like for quieter sections being closer and louder sections being further back, and you're gonna want a more sound treated room, but ideally for the voice, you're gonna need a lot of compression to keep it from being too dynamic. If you're using it as a speaking mic, works plenty fine, but if you're gonna be singing and you're gonna be in loud and quiet sections, it's gonna be a more challenging mic to work with, but the recording quality itself is not bad. You would need to find some way to run it through a compressor. I mean, to be fair, that's a fairly common issue with any microphone. I mean, a good microphone is going to be very dynamic, and you're going to need some kind of compression to just tame those vocals and keep them from diving in and out of the mix. The guitar, on the other hand, since the guitar isn't quite as dynamic as the voice, I think the guitar recordings sound pretty solid. Like if you had to work with this mic, I think you could get some really solid sounding guitar tracks. And let me just show you. So I've got a reference here. Here's a song I worked on back in 2016. So this is a song that was, carefully produced, now at my skill level at the time. Obviously, the raw track would need some work, but to me, that's not horrendously bad. I mean, yes, the produced one sounds better because it's been EQ'd, it's got some reverb in there, it was more carefully recorded, but considering like just how quickly I threw this up, I recorded it right here in my bedroom, that tells me that if you were to be more strategic with the kind of room you're recording in, the proper mic placement, and your processing, like what kind of EQ and compression you're doing on the instrument, I think you could totally use this to record an acoustic guitar. Is it going to be the first mic I go to? No, I'm going to stick with what I've been using. But again, if it's just your laptop and headphones and you needed to produce music and you needed a really affordable mic to just kind of help you do anything, this might be a contender. This is something worth considering. Let's have a look at another track. This one is playing with a pick and strumming more. I mean, obviously it's a much drier sound because it's not going through the reverb that the produced track is and stuff, but as far as like just the clarity of the recording, I think you could totally work with that. An inexpensive microphone like this, used with proper placement, just finding the best placement for it and a good room, I think you could record some acoustic guitar with that. That is pretty cool. So, now what? Man, all I can really say is I am pleasantly surprised. I think what's impressed me most is how good it is at the price point. It's a $25 microphone. And part of me is like, sure, I'll do this review, whatever. I'm sure it's like, oh yeah, you can talk into it, it works, you know, it's a mic. But how well it works at that price point. Like, I'm not kidding, this is a pretty cool microphone. It's not like the first microphone I'm gonna recommend, but it depends on your situation. If you're someone and you've got like an on-the-go setup and you need a solid microphone to get the job done, hey, this is a contender. This is totally good for that. Whatever you kind of need it for, I'm pretty sure if you spent some time with it and experimented, you could get some solid results with this thing. So if you're in need of a very portable microphone, just something really quick, plug in and go, just something like that, definitely check this out. Again, about $25, you know, $32 with shipping, something like that. I don't know if I'm getting any affiliation. I hope I do, because it turns out this is actually a pretty cool mic. So I'll have a link in the description so you can check it out. Sweet, that's all I have to say about it. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time.